Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on the same wavelength. Is it backing down, or is it part of the strategy? This next installment here, again, I'll refresh the question. Do you think that President Trump is pulling back? Are you disappointed? Do you think it's 8D chess? What do you think is happening right now? I'm going to recap it and give you my opinion. Then we'll have Nick Shorter on because there has been quite a bit of confusion over the last 24 hours. Yeah. You are going to see two camps on what's going on in Minnesota. You will see, and there are these people, the sycophants, who will say that President Trump can do no wrong. This is another art of the deal, period. And most of the time, you can see that at work. For example, when you look at NATO. I don't necessarily know that that is what is happening right now. And if it is, the communication certainly has not been anywhere near as effective or as clear as it has been in past negotiations. So that's one group. The next group is going to be the taco group. Taco Trump chickened out. See, look, he folded. Which one is correct? We don't really know yet. That's the simple answer. But I will say this. We have millions of people who watch every single day. And so what I've chosen to do is talk as though people in the administration are listening, because I know quite a few are. And we are going to present what we would like to see done. So, is it backing down, or is it part of the strategy? Yesterday, President Trump posted a couple of truths, one regarding Tim Walz. Governor Tim Walz called me with the request to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on the same wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that we are looking for are any and all criminals that they have in their possession. The governor very respectfully understood that. I don't think that he did understand that because he's rejected that repeatedly. And then he ended with, he was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. And as we hear it, they have some outdoorsy time planned. So that should be, well, hey. Then a truth regarding Jacob Frey. If I say Frey, just know it's just very hard for me to read his name and not say Frey. So regarding Jacob Frey. Just had a very good telephone conversation with Mayor Jacob Frey. I have to give you his title, otherwise you wouldn't know him. Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis. Lots of progress is being made. Tom Homan will be meeting with him tomorrow in order to continue the discussion, and we hear that they too have some outdoorsy time planned. So, okay, and then of course we'll get to them claiming victory. By the way, tune in 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're watching, I know you may be watching a clip. We do this live, 11 a.m. Eastern. You know how broadcast used to be done.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
The next piece of information that trickled out yesterday, and we'll have Nick Shorter on to hopefully clarify, was that Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino had been ousted. So this came from The Atlantic. Gregory Bovino has been removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander-at-Large and will return to his former job in El Centro, California, where he is expected to retire soon, according to a DHS official and two people with knowledge of the change. The communication hasn't been that great because then Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt gave kind of a lukewarm pushback saying, well, no, he's not really being relieved, but we still don't know what that actually is.
I had a question. With Homan now going to Minnesota, is Gregory Bovino also going to remain in Minnesota overseeing these ICE operations?
Mr. Bovino is a wonderful man, and he's a great professional. He is going to very much continue to lead Customs and Border Patrol throughout and across the country. Mr. Homan will be the main point of contact on the ground in Minneapolis.
And to follow up, given what we've heard from several Trump administration officials, people like Stephen Miller, as people point out, calling him a domestic terrorist, Bovino saying that Freddie was out to massacre law enforcement. Why not require ICE agents to wear body cameras to clear up some of the disputes that we are hearing from witnesses and video footage versus what the administration has been saying?
So, not super clear. Here's what seems to be actually, and Nick Shorter is going to hopefully clarify that because he was the one who broke the story initially, as I understand it yesterday. What's happening, though, now in Minnesota? Well, you have the Democrats spinning this as a victory. That's not a good thing. Now, here's the thing. I am a big fan of Tom Homan. He's been on the show. He's a friend of the show. Yeah. There's no world in which someone says, send in Homan, and I'm upset. I also understand that you cannot let the left smell blood in the water. Where if they can spin it into a victory and they can make it seem like you're scared, well, then we end up with billions of dollars in damages and thousands of casualties in the summer of love and ICE agents being assaulted. So there's nothing wrong with Tom Homan. I think Tom Homan is probably best in any of these scenarios. That's why he has that job. But the Democrats spinning this is Walz less than 2 hours after the truth, where he actually, and can you guys bring, I believe this is this from Walz or is this from the Wall Street Journal? Someone can let me know. It says, federal officers are lying. My state's corrections department honors all immigration detainers. So here's the article, and this is how he wrote it. I know this may seem confusing, but he writes a claim truth, the way we lay out the show.
Wall Street Journal, yeah.
He wrote the claim. The Trump admin claims that 1,360 non-U.S. citizens are in Minnesota prisons. The truth, our total state prison population is roughly 8,000, and only 207 of them are non-citizens. Well, okay. I need to clarify some numbers, but here's the first one that I can very easily clarify and check the references, link in the description. Here's the truth. Tim Walz knows he's lying. He knows that he's lying because Minnesota's total incarcerated population is over 17,000. About 17,500.
Well, crap.
So when he says our total state prison population is roughly 8,000, no. The number of incarcerated is 17,500. And then that brings us to DHS's actual wording. They didn't say prison population. They said, we are calling on Governor Walz and Mayor Fry to honor the more than 1,360 detainers of the illegal aliens in Minnesota jails. So detainers means prisons and jails and other people being held in custody. Tim Walz took that and said, well, you know, I know they're lying because our state prison population. Hold on, not just state prison. Are there any other prisons? Are there any other jails? He knows that he's lying and he knows that he's misleading you. Mm-hmm. This is what we see going on repeatedly. He also wrote this in the article. I have repeatedly appealed to President Trump to lower the temperature, but he refuses. I fear that his hope is for the tension between ICE agents and the communities they're ransacking to boil over. You know, and he wants you to see more chaos on your TV screens. Protests turn into riots. More people get hurt. Yeah, because that would be so out of character for the people of Minneapolis. Does this, by the way, sound like turning down the temperature?
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. This federal occupation of Minnesota long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement.
Gestapo,
it's a campaign of
federal
organized
occupation.
brutality against the people of our state. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. The war that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras.
Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
I don't think any governor in history has had to fight a war against the federal government. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. Quit referring to these people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. We have law enforcement who do an incredible job.
So let me just go through that. Gestapo, these thugs, unmarked vehicles, torture dungeons, atrocities being committed against Minnesotans. Minnesota is at war with the federal government, and these people are not law enforcement. You tell me, let's just assume that people believe that. How do you tone down temperatures? Let's just assume that people believe non-law enforcement in unmarked vehicles acting as Gestapo who are at war with Minnesota are taking people to torture dungeons. If I believed that was taking place, I would be waging a civil war. I don't know how they can act as though their own constituents would do any different.
Josh, what are you doing?
Securing my financial future, Gerald. What does it look like?
It looks like you're digging a hole, Josh.
Yeah?
That's what it looks like.
And?
Well, okay, why are you digging a hole?
For gold, Gerald. It's the best investment you can make. Something wonky happens to the economy, Armageddon, bombs start going off, everybody fails, banks fail. I got the good stuff. I'm set.
Gold?
Shh! Yes!
Josh, why don't you just try True Gold Republic? Why don't you give those guys a call or go to lwcgold.com, see if you qualify for one of those no-fee-for-life gold IRAs, and make it simple. It's easy.
It's really that easy?
Yes, you don't have to dig for gold. Put that down. No, put it down. That down.
I kind of like it.
Put that down. Let's go.
Let True Gold Republic help you safeguard your retirement with physical gold and silver. Go to lwcgold.com or call 800-628-4653. Sign up or call today and see if you qualify for a no fees for life IRA.
Come on.
Let's go to Jacob Fry. He spun this as a victory. He posted this on X. He wrote, I spoke with President Trump today and appreciated the conversation. I expressed how much Minneapolis has benefited from our immigrant communities and was clear that my main ask is that Operation Metro Surge needs to end. The president agreed the present situation can't continue. Some federal agents will begin leaving the area tomorrow, and I will continue pushing for the rest involved in this operation to go. So you combine all of that, and you go, oh, okay, so the victory of Fry and Tim Walz against Gestapo in unmarked vehicles committing atrocities against Minnesotans who are waging war against the people of Minnesota, definitely not law enforcement, whisking them away to torture dungeons. And so you've been beating them off. You've been winning. Well, what do you think happens? Well, of course, you embolden the rioters, but Minnesota is as Minnesota do. Oh, that's an emboldened woman.
You traitor!
No fear of consequences.
So what's happening? If you continue to obstruct, resist, or interfere with the police officers, you will be in violation of Minnesota State Statute 609.50, obstructing the legal process.
Just take him to jail.
I'm getting in my car. I'm getting in my car. Your dick is as small as his.
Bitch! Oh my gosh, it's so lazy. You have a small penis. You know what would absolutely destroy that woman's self-esteem? Just grab the love handle, go, no Ozempic yet, huh? Tiny. Sure. Let me guess. Single.
Your cat's going to eat you when you die.
Yeah. Immediately, by the way. Cats don't even wait. And check all the references. Here's the thing. Facts, they don't exist in a vacuum. Context matters. Who would be at fault, right? If this was happening everywhere, you'd go, oh, okay, well, obviously it's the federal authorities.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not. It's happening in places like Minnesota. It's not happening in places like Texas or Florida. So to give you an idea, in Minnesota, there's about 100 to 130,000 illegal aliens. In Texas, there's 2 million. Florida, there's 1 to around 1.6 million. Then you look at the deportations. Minnesota, there's only been 10,000. In Texas, there's been approximately 60,000. Florida, there's been about 23,000. A lot of self-deportations, obviously, which aren't necessarily broken down by state. What does that mean as far as Minnesota's performance? Well, we can look at the total number of ICE incidents. 9 counties accounted for 2/3 of all violent incidents involving ICE officers.
Interesting.
Chicago, LA, and Minneapolis, and they're all anywhere between 20 to 30 incidents. And Minneapolis, obviously, substantially smaller than those places. And here's the thing.
And none of those places cooperate with ICE, right?
Right.
Oh, maybe there's a through line here.
Right. So we can now look at the common denominator, right? We go, okay, well, federal authorities, well, there aren't incidents everywhere. And they're doing this wherever it is appropriate. And it seems as though it's happening pretty peacefully, except for a few key. Oh, that's right. We're talking about sanctuary cities. We're talking about governors. We're talking about mayors who are stoking the flames. And I'll bring you to what the end result is. But just for some visual aids here, compare Minneapolis to how Florida deals with it. They nip it in the bud right away.
This is not Minneapolis. That is not going to end well for you in Florida. But the idea that you're going to assault one of our troopers is unacceptable, and you are going to face consequences as a result of that.
I am not afraid. I I will stand for liberation because I know why I was made.
Why are you being arrested?
Keep
I'm
singing.
being arrested for peacefully protesting the horrible treatment
For blocking a roadway.
by ICE agents.
It's called obstruction.
You can hear the whistles, sirens, and the angry chants
Love
of
it.
protesters as a person was handcuffed on the ground outside of an ICE office in Orlando. Another angle shows the same moment. Dozens of state troopers surrounded the protester and blocked the street.
Shame on you.
Oh,
Nice.
take it.
They could have given it a little more pop, but I'm okay with it.
We'll let it go.
So they nip it in the bud, right? Hey, I'm going to take Tim Walz at his word. Let's cool down temperatures.
Yeah.
All right, good. Maybe if you do what Florida does, maybe if you do what Texas does, you could avoid the over $500 million in damages that the George Floyd riots alone inflicted upon your municipality, or the COVID fraud, $650 million statewide, or the Somali fraud, $9 billion statewide. That's a significant chunk of change. So see, not to mention the thousands of casualties, injuries, businesses that will never come back.
Right.
It is not compassionate to let people behave like children. If your child is about to do something dangerous, you tell them to stop and you count to 3. Is it compassionate to not enforce it? They hurt themselves. Now, what if they're hurting other people's kids? President Trump cannot back down on Minnesota. He cannot set a tone of capitulation. That will then be a cancer that infects the rest of the country. We have seen what that looks like. We have had to deal with the ramifications. That is exactly what Minnesota, what Minneapolis wants. No.
Yeah.
We have to condemn that. We have to make sure that people know it not only will not be rewarded, it will be punished, and it is going to hurt. So I don't know exactly what is going on right now. The communication is not very good from this administration. They could do better. You guys need to hold strong, follow through so that people see the end results. Because people have seen the end results with Minneapolis, George Floyd, Somali daycare fraud. They have seen it. They don't like it. It's tough right now. I get it. The road is a little bit rough. Stay the course so that people can see the yield. Otherwise, it's all for nothing.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be nearly as rough if police just cooperated and helped out, right? And we have Nick coming on in just a few minutes here. I'll let you know when he's on. But if anything, right now, I think it's Maple Grove, right? The footage that we're seeing of the police finally showing up and doing something about some of the rioters and protesters and arresting some people. And you see officers rushing and you're like, where was this?
Yeah.
Where was this from the very beginning? Do you remember the other night, the Home 2 Suites? There was one guy bleeding standing in the doorway.
Yeah.
A part of the story that I read, and I have to confirm this, is that he ran up there to provide assistance. He was defending the staff, him and his buddy. And it was just those two guys. Then it was down to one, and I think his buddy came back, and they're just like, where are the local police officers to help us out here? We're just trying to protect people in this building.
Yeah.
And finally they did. And so a lot of us on X were just like, finally, you sent in the police. Man, if you had done this from the very beginning, do you think some people might still be alive? Do you think if maybe you had encouraged your citizens instead of to go out and break the law and stand in the road and harass ICE officers and get in the way and physically accost them, maybe some people would be alive and officers wouldn't have had to defend their lives in these situations?
Right.
How do they take no responsibility for that?
I know.
How do they not go, you know what? The police are here for a reason. We got some criminals over here and we know they don't belong in this country. We're just going to let them go.
Let me ask you this too. Yeah, it's a very good point. And they keep invoking January 6th. Or they go, the worst day. Objectively, have you seen more assaults committed in Minneapolis over the last week than all of January 6th? Not even including the Summer of Love riots, right? Objectively, you've seen far more, haven't you? You've seen far more acts of violence, and you've certainly seen far more acts of violence committed against fellow American citizens, for example, staff at the hotel. Let's just stop. They want you to, their goal is to twist you into pretzels and really to make you sort of, make it so that's of your own doing. Don't go, no. We have the right to enforce the law. You guys are refusing to enforce the law. You're actually trying to stop us from enforcing the law. We are going to enforce the law. You don't have the right to do that. And I think the message needs to be so clear and so forceful that if you don't let us enforce the law, we're going to arrest you because that too is the law. You cannot back up on this. And I would be championing this from the rooftops if I was in this administration. Find me one example of people making their voices heard peacefully not obstructing a roadway, traffic, ICE from doing their job, being physically accosted and abused. It's not a thing.
No, it's not. And you're 100% right. I think we have Nick in 2 minutes.
Okay.
He'll be on. So really quickly, one of the reasons you can't back down is this statement that we just saw from, I believe, the city of Buffalo on whether they're going to cooperate with ICE. So it says, this is the caption from Breaking 911 on X. Mayor of Buffalo, New York, Sean Ryan, has signed an executive order restricting ICE operations and limiting local cooperation. There we go. Cities around the country doing the exact opposite of what you do if you want to protect your citizens, make people safe, and make sure you get rid of illegal criminals that are in your possession some way, somehow. That's the exact opposite of what you do. So I really hope the Trump administration is taking notes. Listen, this is painful. Don't absorb all of the hits and then give them exactly what they want, because you've already taken the hits and the damage.
Yeah.
Follow through, be done with it.
If I was an advisor to Trump right now, I would say, look, okay, I get it. If at this point, if people say, Taco, if you feel like the optics maybe look as though you've chickened out, now really, really drill down on, okay, we're giving them an opportunity to hand over all of the incarcerated, all of the detained criminals. And then the second they don't, you go, we're going back in and do so more aggressively. Say, well, this is why, because we acted in good faith. They said they would hand over the criminals. That's what this was about. They wouldn't let us. It gives you an opportunity to educate the public. They wouldn't let us they wouldn't give us the criminals in their custody. So we were under the impression that they were going to. They still refused to. And now we're back to square one. There you go. There's your chance. And you get to waltz in with that messaging.
Yeah.
So the American public go, well, why? I thought they were leaving. Why are they back in? Oh, wait. Active criminals who are detained, they haven't been handed over. There is an opportunity here.
Yeah.
But you're going to see a whole lot more of that if the perception is that this administration is weak or that they will throw their own people under the bus. It doesn't even have to be real. If the perception is that, you will get whole cities who refuse to play ball. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.